was a lot of talk after Melbourne about, I wasn't exposed to it myself, but I sensed there was quite a lot of talk about it being fairly boring and not enough cars in the race, high attrition rate, not enough starters, etc., etc. Very easy to run Formula One down at the moment, but I don't know, I'm just a kid. I just loved that race, and I loved it partly because of the three rookies, Formula One rookies that we had, and I love watching all three of them. I thought they were just compelling, actually, as compelling as Lewis's drive, his management of the fuel management side of the engine, of the tires, and the job he did to beat a very quick Nico Rosberg. I thought that was compelling. Obviously, Sebastian Vettel's drive in the Ferrari was excellent. But I thought watching those three rookies was, it was the most enjoyable aspect of the race, without a doubt. Felipe Nasr, always been a fan of Felipe. It started in British Formula 3 because anybody who can be that good deserves to be watched at a time when British Formula 3 was still a genuinely competitive championship. So that was the first point. When we interviewed him, we've interviewed him a few times on our YouTube channel. One of the things that captured our imagination was how professional he was when he did the Daytona 24 Hours, and how good he was and how versatile he proved to be. And it certainly wasn't beneath him. He really enjoyed doing that race, and he's the sort of guy that would be quite comfortable going to America if that's what he had to do. And here in brackets, we should say that that's something that Kevin Magnussen was already looking at, and possibly still is looking at, an IndyCar drive as well. So good to see Formula One drivers who aren't getting the breaks looking immediately to go to America. Anyway, getting back to Felipe Nasr, a couple of indifferent GP2 seasons, but, a lot of that was the momentum he lost when he drove for Dams, and so unreliable. I've never known a GP2 season more blighted with issues than Felipe had when he was with a team that should have won him the championship. So that was a difficult time for him. Then he had the Williams drive. He got to know the third drive. He got to know Felipe Massa pretty well, which I think is a good thing. They hang out a lot. And now we see him in the Sauber, and when at first sight you saw that and you thought that's a very strange marriage, but of course a Sauber is just a Sauber. It's just a racing car, and a good racing car is always going to reward a very talented driver, and that's what we're seeing here. A very good racing car. Willem Toet, the aerodynamicist, must take, I think, all the credit for the performance of the Sauber, given the limited budget on which he's been operating, or was operating at Sauber, and the number of the relatively few number of iterations he had to try in that excellent tunnel that he's built there. He's just done a superb job, and he should be on everybody's shopping list now that, very oddly, Sauber have decided to let him go. I cannot imagine what that is all about, but no doubt there's some politics there, as there often are with very talented people that end up leaving Sauber. Anyway, getting back to Felipe, very difficult weekend for him, obviously, because of that whole business with Guido van der Garde and the lawsuit and not being able to say anything, and everybody getting very edgy, and not much happening on Saturday when they finally got a lap done in the morning. But in qualifying, both of them went out there, did what they needed to do. But race day, when the race was underway, just superb use of traffic, of gaps, and under pressure from Daniel Ricciardo. Felipe Nasr was just faultless, and I was so happy to see him get that result. It was great to watch. It wasn't great to watch if you're an Australian fan, of course, because all you suspected and wanted was for Daniel to get a result. But I thought Nasr was just brilliant. Man of the match, no question about that for me. And then, of course, there were the two Toro Rosso drivers. I'm a big Max Verstappen fan. I love the way he drives. I love the linear way he drives. To me, I've said it already, that I think he's a very Lewis Hamilton type driver, in the style of adopting little flat spots for the car, little straight lines. You see him very little time is he out of line, particularly with the rear. He's always manipulating the car, looking right on top of it, and I think that was typified by the incident he had in Q2, which effectively lost his rise into Q3. It killed his Q3 chances. He went into turn 3 a little bit too quickly, as a rookie is going to do, but he didn't have the moment that most rookies would then have. He didn't lose the rear and go off into the sand trap. Because he keeps the car so flat and so straight liney, he was able to hit the curb almost at a straight line. Yes, the curb bounced the car around, he lost traction, and the tyres got a little bit dirty, but he held the moment. And one of the most impressive things of all I thought about Verstappen was that his sector 3 time on that lap was still his personal best of the weekend, despite the dirty tyres, despite the incident in sector 2. And that, I thought, was a very big insight into how talented this guy is. Okay, he didn't get him into Q3, 3, the damage was done. He's going to make more mistakes, but this guy is seriously good. And then there was Carlos Sainz, who drives very differently from Max Verstappen. He's absolutely on the edge all the time, very oversteery, very reflexy. I say oversteery. He loves to feel the rear of the car. That's his guiding light into the corner. And I just thought he just found this very narrow ribbon of grip throughout the weekend and stayed with it. And all credit to him. Carlos Sainz, his father, was there, as indeed, of course, was Jos Verstappen. And, it's kind of fun, isn't it, seeing those two fathers with their excellent backgrounds with these two ultra-talented kids. And that's what, to me, Toro Rosso is all about. It's about two young drivers of that quality and watching now how they're going to grow. It's going to be really interesting, I think, to see how they get on at Sepang, one of the most demanding circuits on the Formula One calendar. And if you wanted to pick 3 circuits on which, if you were a rookie, to really test your native talent, native approach, it would be probably Albert Park, Sepang and Shanghai. 3 pretty demanding tracks, and it's fascinating to watch those 2 rookies, and indeed Felipe Nasr as well. But Felipe's got a little bit more experience because of his Williams links. But great to see those guys, and to me they brought the whole weekend to life. Whenever there was a flat moment, I would just float on down to Toro Rosso and see what was going on there and catch up with the 2 boys to see what progress they were making. And that to me is a lot of what this 2015 Formula One season is already all about.